Laken Riley. Say her name. The blood is on this administration's hand. The blood is on Mayorkas' hands. I don't think you're incompetent. Nobody can be this damn incompetent. This shit is on purpose and by design. No proof of who they are, no proof of their name, no proof of what anything that the information they've inserted into the app is accurate, no photo verification, no documents stored about these people, and they can get on the plane and sit right next to your ass. When the first thing you do in this country is break the laws, don't come here and tell me that you respect my country, that you have any kind of allegiance to my country or want to assimilate. There is a way to do that, and millions of people have assimilated legally, and God bless them. First off, there is an illegal immigrant, illegal alien crime spree rampant, y'all, across the country. We just had the story and the break last week about Laken Riley. Laken Riley that was murdered, a University of Georgia student. Georgia student killing suspect illegally migrated to U.S., authorities say. The victim has been identified as 22-year-old Laken Hope Riley. She was found unconscious with visible injuries. I think the report says her skull was rendered unrecognizable. Her reported case of death is blunt force trauma. The University of Georgia Police Department arrested 26-year-old Antonio Ibarra in connection to the death of 22-year-old Laken Riley. Police announced that Ibarra is not a U.S. citizen, not a UGA student, nor did he know Riley personally. According to multiple DHS sources, he is here illegally from Venezuela. Sources confirmed he crossed on September 22 and was released due to lack of detention space. He saw an individual and bad things happened. That is an understatement, I would say. So yet another illegal immigrant. They had a vigil for Laken Riley today, or was it yesterday, excuse me, at the University of Georgia. Here's a little clip. Red state, they're not ones that usually are considered a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state by any means, but there is a story that came out, here you go, about this. The Laken Riley murder, Athens Clarke County Sheriff campaign on not cooperating with ICE for a culture of fear. Laken Riley was allegedly murdered by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. After the Athens Clarke County mayor insisted that the community where nursing student Laken Riley was murdered by an alleged illegal immigrant was not a sanctuary city, residents pointed to the sheriff who campaigned on not cooperating with ICE. A resurfaced video from 2020 appears to show then candidate John Williams, who is now the Athens Clarke County sheriff, stating that he would not cooperate with ICE. It's just this liberal lack of common sense, this liberal love for, or this liberal disdain for law and order, and flouting the federal responsibility, this federal statute to detain and deport illegal immigrants. The own federal government's not enforcing their own law. Now we got the sheriff of Athens Clarke County who ran on another one of these not defund the police because he is police, but another one of these modern type leftist style DA approaches to not prosecuting crimes, letting illegals go, all this kind of stuff. And it's killing people. This new age liberalism is killing people. He, quote, "It is not my intention to cooperate with detainers," Williams told a reporter from the Athens Politics Nerd. "I see it as the sheriff's responsibility to protect the community. We can't help with a culture of fear in our community and expect our community to respond and help us in situations." So there you go. There you go. And the New York Post has a story out. Laken Riley murder suspect Jose Ibarra was free because the system is broken. There's a nice young girl whose future was cut short by this wave of illegal immigration that has happened under our current president. Laken Riley is dead because America failed to protect her. For every crime her suspect killer committed, he was let free. Every chance to prevent the tragedy that unfolded was squandered. Police say the killing of Augusta University College nursing student was a, quote, crime of opportunity, but was an opportunity provided again and again by callous Biden administration and justice system gone mad. The suspect, Jose Antonio Ibarra, illegally crossed the border into El Paso in September of 22. Yes, illegally. Despite what activists might claim, he was not a, quote, asylum seeker. That's a designation for someone who is fleeing religious or political persecution. Ibarra, along with his wife and 5-year-old child, was looking for better economic opportunities that they could find in Venezuela, which, fine, that's what immigrants have sought for hundreds of years. But they must follow the rule. If he legitimately wanted asylum, he was legally obligated to apply for it in safe haven in between Venezuela and here. So the article goes on, this makes lots of poignant points, is that the situation and the system is rigged against the law enforcement, against the border control, against any of these cities that actually want to police their own state. Look at here, right here in Texas. Right now in Texas, they just had a federal judge block Texas law allowing police to arrest illegal immigrants. Now, this just came out, something that Abbott had done to try to empower the National Guard to help free up the sovereign land of Texas, because Biden's letting the national border just be overrun. They're overrunning these communities, killing everybody, raping people, and they're trying to at least do something on their own and take it into their own hands in Texas. And now a federal judge has come out and blocked that. A Texas law giving state law enforcement officers expanded power to arrest people who illegally cross the southern border was blocked by a federal judge on Thursday, less than a week before the law was slated to go into effect. U.S. District Judge David Ezra granted a preliminary injunction that will block the Texas law, which made crossing the border illegally a state crime. As record numbers of migrants cross into the U.S. under President Joe Biden, the Texas Tribune reported. Ezra, an appointee of President Ronald Reagan, wrote in his ruling that states, quote, may not exercise immigration enforcement power except as authorized by the federal government. So Abbott came out and said this was not unexpected. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. It's just another issue that we're having to have states and the third branch of government, the courts, the Supreme Court, rule in and rein in this reckless Biden administration that is against its own people, against the interests of Americans, of the citizens, in favor of those who aren't citizens, who they don't even know who they are, many of whom have no reason to be here, have criminal records, and are killing people. Lots is going on in the story this week. Speaking in Texas, here's one from, all this is just this week, okay? All of this you're about to see is just this week.
A woman accused in Mexico of several murders and body dismemberments, even removing victims' hearts, is arrested in El Paso. And within the last 10 minutes, ABC 7 obtained this arrest photo. She is Michelle Angelica Pineda, also known as La Cheli. She was wanted for 5 murders in Juarez. She's also suspected of being involved in several other killings. Investigators say she crossed illegally into the U.S. and was operating on behalf of the gang Artistas Asesinos, or assassin artists. The FBI says Pineda was known for extreme brutality,
just wants a better life,
dismembering bodies, removing
dismembering
hearts,
people and cutting their hearts out and
shit in front of Santa Muerte statues. Authorities say they found guns, machetes, and fentanyl, as well as other drugs at the motel. El Paso's FBI says several law enforcement agencies worked together to arrest Pineda at an El Paso motel.
That's just this week down in Texas, what they're having to deal with. Illegal immigrant woman gang member, the Assassin Artists is the name of their gang. Over here killing people, cutting their hearts out and shit. Probably got a cell phone, some free food from us, bus ride to wherever she wanted to go, all on our dime, all courtesy of the Biden administration to deliver her right into this community where she's killing Americans. More blood on the hand of the Biden administration. Here's another one from this week. Breaking, an illegal immigrant from El Salvador has been arrested for the murder of a 2-year-old child. This comes after Noel Trejo Carnados was arrested multiple times on various charges and released from custody in New Jersey despite a deportation order for him. Look at this stuff. They had the deportation order from this guy. He's already been arrested a bunch of times, and now he's killing toddlers. Killing toddlers. Had a deportation order, but they're just going to let him go in the meantime. Just, go frolic among the states and among the innocent people, chopping them up and killing them up and doing whatever. A 2-year-old child. 2-year-old child. Here's another one. In Utah, illegal immigrant in Utah arrested for alleged rape of 11-year-old. Guatemalan national in the country illegally was arrested by Utah police on Monday for allegedly raping an 11-year-old girl, according to police records obtained by the Daily Wire. The 26-year-old Jonathan Estuaro Rano Garcia is being held in the Utah County Jail, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a detainer on him. They're everywhere, man. This is all on the Biden administration. All this blood, this girl's sanity, her body, her freaking self-worth is on the Biden administration's hand. Say their name. Laken Riley. Say her name. The blood is on this administration's hand. The blood is on Mayorkas' hands. And all this global cabal, these Marxist, socialist, Democrats is what you ultimately have to call them, because they have enough people that's voting blue. No matter what, they're complicit. If you don't know what's going on in this country and you're voting for this, then you're complicit too, I guess. That's my opinion. I don't know how you don't say. I mean, if you're voting for this policy in this country and you're okay with it, I don't understand how you don't care more about the lives and communities of American citizens. I just don't. And as Ted Cruz pointed out this week, media Democrats covering up illegal alien crimes because illegals are viewed as future Democrat voters, quote unquote. Senator Ted Cruz said this week that the media and Democrat politicians are doing everything they can to hide the fact that the man who was accused of murdering a Georgia college student last week is an illegal alien, because the political left views illegal aliens as future Democrat voters. Cruz was asked during an interview on Wednesday why the media was not reporting the fact that the suspect in this case is an illegal alien who entered the U.S. as part of President Joe Biden's border crisis, the worst illegal immigration crisis in U.S. history. Quote, because they support the open borders we had, Cruz says. The 10.6 million illegal immigrants who have crossed under Joe Biden, Democrats and the media both view all of them as future Democrat voters. And so if people have to die, if children have to be assaulted, if women have to be raped, they are willing to accept that as collateral damage. The odds of a major terrorist attack in America are greater than they have been at any point since September 11th, 2001, Cruz continued. Every time I'm on the border, when I talk to Border Patrol agents, they tell me that they are concerned about Hamas and Hezbollah terrorists crossing over and trying to commit another mass murder like October 7th. You think? What else you think they hear? And I can't hammer this point home enough. Democrats, he's exactly right. Democrats will accept these people's murders. Laken Riley, this 2-year-old, this poor girl, 11-year-old in Utah that was raped. All this week, within the last 7 days, so that they can flood the country with what they think are potential new voters to subvert the will of the American citizens who are here now. They can't win on their own. They couldn't win in 2020, so they suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story. They suppressed the truth from the American people. They changed all the voting laws with mail-in ballot and the voter ID laws with those mail-in ballots. The signatures that have to match and all this. Counted ballots after election days in some states. All these rules they change. They will do whatever it is to stay in power and fundamentally transform the United States of America, as Barack Obama so eloquently put it. Everybody be damned. You are just a bug in the way of them on their road to one world government, United Nations ruling all. and subverting the will of the American people. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Check this out. This is a story. This is how the links that they're going to now. This is the links they're going to make sure all this happens.
The American people know that if you head to the airport, you want to jump on a flight here in the United States, you bring a valid form of ID. I always use my Montana driver's license. I imagine some of you, maybe it's even happened to yourself, you show up at the airport, you run a little late, might have forgotten an ID back home. You don't try to enter through TSA to get to the terminal because you know you'll be turned back without a valid form of ID. This is an actual sign that's popped up.
Look at this.
At the Delta terminal at the Miami airport. Instructions for illegals to use their CBP One app, that's the Customs Border Patrol app, at TSA checkpoints as a valid form of ID to board a plane in the United States. For those who don't know, the CBP One app provides appointments for migrants who are claiming asylum at the border. Migrants, particularly those wanted for crimes, can fill in any basic information they want in the app and be let into the country. The goal is to, and I quote, validate adult non-U.S. citizen travel documentation when the traveler does not otherwise have an acceptable form of identification. However, it also notes that photos are optional. It says that multiple times. It says it can provide biographical information if requested, but notes that information is not stored, again, multiple times. How is this even serious? Illegals coming to the United States from countries that are designated state sponsors of terror and on terror watch lists can use this process. Americans, think about this for a moment. We, as Americans, are going to be forced to acquire a real ID by May of 2025, or you or anybody else here, myself, will be barred from boarding a flight in the United States. How in the world can we justify this when illegal immigrants are allowed to board planes with unverifiable information they filled out on an app? The administration, the Senate Democrats say they're concerned about the southern border, but their actions prove otherwise. It's time to get serious.
Let's go. So, did you know that? They can just go show an app that says that they are seeking asylum, no proof of who they are, no proof of their name, no proof of anything that the information they've inserted into the app is accurate, no photo verification, no documents stored about these people, and they can get on the plane and sit right next to your ass. Could be Hamas, Hezbollah. You don't know. You don't know who you're sitting next to. They don't know either is the problem. The government does not know who these people are. They just gave them a phone so they could sign up for an app. And now they're sleeping in the airports everywhere. If you're pushing it late to your plane, you might show up to the gate and find out they gave your seat away to one of these people. It's been happening as well. That's been reported. It makes absolutely zero sense, except for the fact that you call it intentional. Now, if you start to realize this is by design and that this is exactly what they're intending to do, to subvert the will of the American people, to drown out and override the vote of the American people by importing an entire new class of permanently dependent citizens on the government, permanently dependent from everything they get, their phone, their housing. The Medicaid now is paying for housing, paying rent. All the stuff they're getting, and they're treated better than America's homeless that's on the side of the street. Now, you better realize that it's on purpose. It's all by design. And Matt Gaetz just called out Mayorkas here recently. I think this came out today, where he said, I don't think you're incompetent. Nobody can be this damn incompetent. This shit is on purpose and by design. Watch Matt Gaetz. It's a thing of beauty.
100,000 people have encountered your CBP agents, and those folks have been released into the country. Like, some of those people are going to commit crimes, aren't they?
Congressman, may I have a moment to answer your questions?
Will some of the 800,000 commit crimes, yes or no?
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly. And so the Americans who are the victims of the crimes for the people that you release in the country are collateral damage that you are willing to accept in order to have our border function as a turnstile. You're willing to accept that collateral damage.
Congressman, I couldn't disagree with you more. Let me give you, if I can, some data that will actually
Well, more than the data, how about this?
Well-
how did it feel to you when you went to the border and the Border Patrol agents turned their back on you?
One Border Patrol agent turned his back on me, and I addressed that as
was only
the leader of the Department of Homeland Security. So if I can return to data, because I want to make
see the
sure that
data.
you have accurate information.
Everyone knows that you have more people coming in than ever, and you're removing fewer people than ever, and it's because you have no plan and because it's on purpose. See, I don't buy the theory that you don't know how to do this. I think you're actually a highly competent dude. But the reality is, your plan is to bring these people in and to send the message to the smugglers and the criminals that they will never have to leave. That's why your workforce turns their back on you. And you have tools that you could use to deport these people. You have facial recognition. You have flights going all over the country, dropping people off. And I think we ought to use the best tools in the country to find these folks, round them up like they were at the Capitol on January 6th, and deport every last one of them. I yield back.
Deport every last one of them. Sign me up for that, Matt Gaetz. Come on. When the first thing you do in this country is break the laws, don't come here and tell me that you respect my country, that you have any kind of allegiance to my country or want to assimilate. There is a way to do that. And millions of people have assimilated legally, and God bless them. God bless them for coming over here legally, getting asylum, if that's what you mean to get, and that's what you deserve, then get your asylum and take your citizenship test. And most of those people, the vast majority of those people, love this country. They know why they actually did flee their homeland or their previous place for America, for freedom, for asylum. They love this country and they want to be assimilated. These other people coming up here, killing everybody, beating up cops, stealing, looting, bringing all the fentanyl, that's not what they're about. And they have the door and the red carpet laid out for their ass to just keep on coming. And people much worse than that as well. So just to remind everybody, these are the executive actions. This is the executive actions. 94 of them. Reminder, Biden took 94 executive actions in his first 100 days to dismantle border security. Many of them he took on his first day in office. He has all the authority he needs to reverse those actions and end the crisis, but he refuses because now he wants to say that Republicans are fighting and don't want to actually fix and solve the border, which if anybody believes that, I don't know what else to tell you in this country. I don't know. I don't know what more evidence you need to see what has been happening, but just by executive action alone, Biden undid everything Trump tried to do to fix the border, and we know it. It's by design. We're not stupid. So if you like that clip and you want to see another one, click right here. And if you want to see the full episode, click right here.